Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Rimshots with Sean right here in the Rock Rage Radio Network, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk, and sponsored by Mapex Drums. I have a special guest, now very, very good friend, the one, the only Miss Robyn Flans. How are you?
I'm good now that I'm here sitting with you.
Oh, you're too kind. Before we start, a big thank you because you've been since we met, you've been super supportive. I've emailed you for feedback on things. You've helped me line up guests. It's just you've done more than you needed to help me, and I apologize. I'm freezing there a little bit, but I just appreciate the support you've been giving me.
Well, we've become friends and you're a good guy, you're a good interviewer, and I'm happy to do it.
Well, I appreciate that. And you shared something earlier today about a piece that you wrote on I think it was the Mix magazine.
Yes.
That was wonderful. We'll get into that in a couple minutes. Um,
Thank
But I want to talk to you about a special anniversary that's coming up August 5th. I believe it'll be the
you.
33rd anniversary of the passing of the one, the only Mr. Jeff Porcaro. And I want to do something special. He's been popping up a lot in my life the last little bit. I figured why not reach out to somebody that probably knew him better than anybody, and that would be you. So you graciously agreed to do it. So, what are your thoughts about 33 years? That's an amazing amount of time.
You know, I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it to you, but for me, it just gets harder because of the longer passing of time. I mean, I'm constantly aware of that it gets longer and longer, and I feel like, golly, what could he have done? What more could he have done? The music we could have had, the and maybe not just, I mean, I know not just music. He was, getting into production and I'm sure it just woulda, coulda, shoulda. I
Right.
mean, just so much more.
I told you so. I was gifted about 3 or 4 months ago the wonderful edition of Modern Drummer that you did the dedication episode edition where you
Tribute.
interviewed a bunch of people
Yes.
um and a great piece of writing because I felt like anybody that read it got to know the guy. And my personal impressions of him are super kind. Probably smoked a little too much, but had a super deep voice, cared about his friends. There was a great story there about him lending somebody money to buy their first home, things like that. Was that your
JMO.
memory of Jeff?
Yes, he lent his trusted I don't want to just call him a cartage guy because he was his, you know, everything. I mean,
Right.
Jamie was his best friend and did his sound on his drums and I mean, he set him up and schlepped them and did the whole nine yards. But yes, JMO, he lent him the money to buy his first house.
Incredible. Um, as I'm reading that piece, there's a theme that I got. We talked about this before, but he seemed to be very self-deprecating, I guess, with the way he described himself. For a guy, he would say that he was a terrible shuffle player, which as a drummer, I know that that's not the case. Probably, one of the best shuffles that has ever been. But do you really think that that's the way he felt about himself, or do you just think he did that to make him other people feel comfortable around him?
I think it was a mix of both.
Okay,
Um, I think he sincerely was always striving to be better, and therefore he had to be critical of himself. Um, I think he truly thought there were better people than he, and so he had to look at himself and find the flaws. He hated listening to himself back.
perfect.
So, and I know most artists feel that way. Um, he Yeah, I mean, he didn't feel like he was the great player that he was. I mean, he was always feeling like there was something missing or deficient, or he wasn't an ace reader,
Right.
although Steve, his brother, assures me that he was better than he said he was.
Uh-huh.
Um, and certainly he could do the reading that he needed to read, needed to do in the studios. I mean, there's the picture of him on my second book with music uh, laid out in front of him at a Barbra Streisand session.
Mm.
And it's like on several music stands. So it's laid across several music stands. Now, for a guy who says he can't read, um, he could obviously read.
Yeah.
And Barbra Streisand was no, slouch for being kind on her musicians. I mean, not that she was a tyrant, but she expected perfection.
Right.
So, yeah. Did Jeff put himself down unnecessarily? Yeah, absolutely. Did he do it to make other people feel better about themselves? I'm sure there was a piece of that. He was a scholar and a gentleman.
Yeah, I mean, what I get just from the pieces that you've written about him is he was a good reader of people. Like I have never having never met him. I mean, I was in my I think I was around 19 when he passed away, if I remember correctly. Um, but just I'm sitting there and I'm reading it and I'm like, okay, you would walk into a room and this guy would instantly know who his audience was and how to act and how to make them feel comfortable. And is that an accurate depiction of him?
I'm sorry?
Well, is that an accurate depiction of Jeff? Like he could walk into a room and read who was
Oh,
there and
absolutely.
yeah,
And not only that, but he was, I mean, JMO mentioned it in the second book. I mean, at a NAMM show, all the attention would be on Jeff. I mean,
right.
people would come up to him and just be crazy about Jeff. But um, he would always, try to deflect and turn it around on the person. It's a stranger and say, well, tell me about you. So, yeah, he was always sort of outer focused.
There's one piece that you and I talked about, and I've been thinking about it a lot since we chatted. And you had talked about when how he was very generous with trying to get people work. Like if he didn't feel he was the right person for the session, he calls somebody up, and he was. And then, but you made the comment that when he passed, like the Wolves almost came out and they were looking for his work. And the question I've always wanted to ask: did that happen when he was alive? And if it did, how did he handle it? Because just strikes me as this gracious dude that just kind of worked his way through all those. Did that ever happen when he was alive?
You know, I don't know,
Yeah,
Sean, honestly. I don't know that there were people trying to clamor for his work. It would have been really, um, mm, I don't think anyone would have had the nerve
yeah.
to have tried to go after his work. Um, and he was out there campaigning for other drummers, not just the stories of, gee, I'm not right for this part. Let's call so and so while I'm on the session. But he was constantly looking out for people that he met. I mean, there are countless stories like, Myron Grombacher, who
Mm.
he met and just like found work for him, and people that he constantly told contractors about, or producers about in his travels. Call this guy. He's a really good player, and I can't do everything. I mean, listen, I want to tell you something. Um, I've said this other places, but I haven't, it sort of came out organically, but I've decided that I really want to make this a statement.
Hmm.
and I'm going to make it here for the first time.
Thank you.
Um, my favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life. And the Christmas movie with
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart and how he he's about to commit suicide, and an angel comes and says, "Listen, I'm going to take you and to look at your life and see what it would be like, all the lives that you've touched, to see what it would be like to those people if you had never been alive." And I'm here to tell you that if Jeffrey had never been alive, people's lives would have been so very different. He is the epitome of that movie. He touched so many people's lives, Sean, that their lives would be, so many lives would be so very, very, very different.
What?
From the band to players' whole lives. And if you read my second book, particularly, there are so many stories about people who would never have reached the pinnacle of their careers without him.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I didn't even know the extent. So Jeff was It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, and what an incredible statement, because I mean, I think sometimes, and this is just my personal observation and personal experience, people don't want to do that. They feel like if they help somebody to that extent, they're taking away an opportunity for themselves. Um,
Mm.
but and unfortunately, he's gone almost 33 years, but he has that legacy of being an amazing drummer. But I always love to say, like PR 101, when somebody says great whatever, but even better person, if they don't say better person first, they've been a problem. They haven't been, and he's everybody talks about the character of the individual before. I mean, that's just the thing. So, what a statement about a human being, that he just did that, and he didn't care whether or not an opportunity came his way. It's quite incredible.
He was he was something extraordinary. And that, I have to say, came from his upbringing.
Yes, absolutely. And the whole family, I mean, just quality. I want to ask you this. If you're uncomfortable answering it, by all means, it's fine. But um, when you found out, do you remember where you were? And everybody talks about a certain milestone. They remember exactly where they were. And do you remember exactly where you were and who broke the news to you?
Yep. Unfortunately. I mean, it sticks in my brain. Um, Vinny Caliuta
Ah,
called me, and I was sitting minding my own business, and I picked up the phone, and I mean, I can hear him in I mean, it was horrible. It was just horrible. It was, I picked up, it was, there were no cell phones.
great.
I picked up my landline in my kitchen, and he was as horrified as I became. And he said that he had just found out, it had just happened. And I was his first call. And would I continue? Oh, it's just, it paralyzes me when I think, would I continue the chain and call Jim Keltner? And it was the most effed up call I ever had to make. And yeah, I
One, I don't mean to upset you. Because
no,
I
it just, I mean, Jim and I, to this day, we talk about the Oh, just takes me that to the moment. I
Right.
mean, and calling Jim, I think, was worse than getting the call.
And
I mean,
when you
it
had
was
mentioned
horrible.
David, was it hunting? He was on a fishing trip and didn't find out
Yes,
immediately.
and David, poor David. I mean, to this day, I think about poor David came home to a message on his answer machine. I mean, in those days, that's how we got, our messages were, answering machines. It was his birthday weekend,
Mm,
and it was his birthday.
yeah, you were saying, yeah, yeah.
And every time I go to wish him a happy birthday on August 5th, my heart breaks because it was the same day he lost his friend.
I remember I told you in the email there last week. I was driving by my old high school, right where I got my musical start, and I heard it on the radio. And yeah, I mean, and such a
Sorry.
young guy. When you think about how old he was and everything that he did in such a short period of time, right? It was just unbelievable.
Sorry, I lost you there
Oh,
for a
can you hear me
second.
now?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just saying, such a young man, and all he accomplished, and at such a young age. It's but he leaves what a legacy he leaves behind. It's funny. I had an opportunity to go to a friend's used record store, and I grabbed the first Toto album on vinyl and put it on a couple weeks ago, and it's the one obviously Hold the Line is on, and that's not even the best song on that record. I mean, that album just cooks
Oh,
from front to back.
that album is crazy good. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just such a great album. Yeah, Georgie Porgy and oh my God, Manuela I mean, the whole album is
Lights out.
unbelievable. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a great album, and that was what they came out of the box with.
Um, so you did a great job to kind of answer the whole thing about, did Jeff kind of see, um, people maybe not appreciating his help? And I mean, I don't, the people that do that, they don't go around looking for accolades, right? They just do it. It's just a part of their behavior. It's a part of
Oh, he
their thing.
hated the accolades. It embarrassed him. It made him uncomfortable. It was it was unbearable for him. It was like, he would just go, even when it was somebody credible. I mean, everybody's credible,
Right.
but I mean, somebody like, I mean, Luis Conte told me that they were sitting on a train together. It's in, I think, the second book, and they were alone in a compartment, and he just thought, okay, I'm going to take this opportunity, and he just had to tell Jeff that, I want to tell you what a genius I think you are. And Jeff just cut him off, and it was like, nah, no. I mean, they were on a tour together,
Right.
but Jeff didn't want to hear it. It was like, don't, can't, won't, no.
Well, quite incredible because I mean, there's people at a certain level. Like you introduced me to JR. I interviewed him. He was amazing. Um, had very kind words about you. But anybody that I've met at that level has this humble thing to them. And anybody at a lower level are the ones that really seem like they've got this big ego and they're always fighting for their space in the world. And it
It's
kind
the
of,
truth.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very strange to me. Um, So, shifting gears a little bit, you've been able to connect me. You connected me to Eddie Bears, who was what a sweet, sweet man he was. He was awesome. Um, I interviewed Rich Redman, and Rich said, "Can you do me a favor? Can you tell Eddie how much I appreciate it? Him listening to my demo tape when I moved from Texas to Nashville." And I told Eddie, and it was just like he remembered that. It was like so little stories like that. Everybody that I talked to that I mentioned or I dropped the name Robyn Flans, it's just like it's the name I should be dropping in this circle every time. They all say you took care of the newcomers, you took care of the newbies, you made sure the people that you saw and heard were getting the proper do. You got to take some pride in that because you had a long career in talking to some very cool people.
Well, I don't know what to say. It's all about just, I just, I don't know. Never mind.
Well, but here's the thing. I read your pieces and I kind of try to, okay, was Robyn doing this over the phone? Was she in play? Did she have the notepad and how she was doing it? But I get the feeling, you were friendly but not fanny, if that, like you weren't, oh my God, it's blah blah blah. And you were just a total pro and you went in and you had the right questions asked, and every interview just seemed to like the one with John Robinson is probably that edition is probably my favorite one ever of Modern Drummer. And he was first to say, Robyn interviewed me for that. And I was laughing, Robyn, because I said, "Yeah, my mother gets me this thing, and there's this guy with the coif back hair and the tie." I'm like, "Who the heck is this guy?" Because I was a metal guy, right? I bet you I've read that article 40 or 50 times. Just read it.
It depends. I do get fanny sometimes.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I giggled and gushed. Um, I did a recent article for Mix with Keb Kebmo and Taj Mahal, and I got to tell you, I got on a Zoom with them first,
Yeah.
and I just went, and I mean, because to me they're like these legends, and I said to them outright, I'm such a fan. I mean, I was just goofy. And I own it when I am it. Um, um, yeah, I am sometimes.
Well,
I'm not impervious to it.
it was funny because when I told Michelle, my girlfriend, that I was going to interview John, I sent her. She's like, I don't know who that is, and I sent her the Wikipedia link, and she texts me back. She goes, "Can you see if he wants to adopt a daughter because he's played on the soundtrack of my life?" So I
Uh,
told John that, and he's like, "Are you kidding?" So Michelle happened to be here, and she came in, and he talked to her for like a minute or two, and he was just such a sweetheart. And I'm sitting
oh,
there going, my first question was, "Do you realize the amount of stuff that you've played on that's influenced like?" One, honest to God, Robyn, the day before I did the interview, 10 songs in a row came on the radio that John played on. Like, I kid you not.
oh, believe me, I know it well. I mean, I
Right?
feel that way about Jeffrey.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, that's him. That's him. There he is. Yeah.
Well, and there was one, I can't remember what it was the other day I read that he played on. And I'd heard the song a bunch of times. I went back and listened to it. It's like, how did I miss that one? Because it's like the second I found out it was him, it's like, yep, there's his feel. I can picture the hand going the way that he used to play
Yep.
his hi hat
Yep.
and stuff, and
Yep. Yep.
incredible. And obviously goes down as one of the greats. So obviously, you said it gets harder every time, and it's not a fun day. Do you still, from time to time, pay him a visit, bring him some flowers, that type of thing, and just say, "Hey, bud, we're thinking of you," or is it just out of sight, out of
I've
mind?
never visited the grave.
Interesting.
And I've never visited my mother's grave.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. I don't believe that they're there.
Ah, okay. Yep.
Um, my mother said to me before she died, look for me in the trees and the mountains and the beautiful leaves that are green and red and yellow, and that's where I'll be. And I believe that. Um, I don't believe they're in the ground. I believe their spirit is around us. And if I want to get spiritual here,
Mhm.
I will say that Jeffrey has come to visit me a few times.
Amazing.
And he told me he was okay with my writing the books, or I should say the book. It was before the first book. And and it was very real. And he also came to me right after he died,
Incredible.
because I was a mess. and he came and he told me he was all right.
That's amazing. Have you ever heard the story of the dimes? You must have heard that story before.
The
The story of the dimes. So basically, the theory is if you find a dime, it's somebody that's past that is thinking of you. And I had a good friend of mine pass away, and honest to God, I said I found about $50,000 worth of dimes. Like they just turned up everywhere. We were in Dublin, Ireland, and I found a dime, a Canadian dime, sitting on. Might have fallen on my pocket. I don't know, but so I get what you're saying from the spiritual aspect of things because there's little things that remind you of people that are always, they're always there, right?
it's look, I mean, I'm a very spiritual person, and I mean, I actually saw a medium, and he, among others, came to see me during that session.
Incredible.
And it was very real. I
Yeah.
mean, she knew nothing. And she said to me, well, somebody's here and he is way too cool for school.
Yeah.
And he's smoking a cigarette that's very
Probably wearing the
annoying.
headband.
And he's just strutting around the room and he's way cool.
Yeah,
And
that's
she told
incredible.
me that where he is, he's not doing what he's known for. She said he was a celebrity, but he's not doing what he was known for.
Wow.
He's painting.
Oh, was that something that he liked to do?
Oh, he was an artist.
Okay.
Art was what vied for his profession before he played drums.
Ah, amazing.
So I knew that it was Jeffrey that was there. She
It
was right on.
it's it's great that you're like last time that we spoke, we went through a whole piece about how you felt that maybe the ageism thing kind of played a role in your career, but you are still writing, which is incredible. You have those wonderful two books, which I'll get you to plug as soon as we're done here, and you're doing. Well, I saw that the mix. Are you doing other pieces? Are you writing for other people?
I'll tell you what, Sean, there are so few real publications left anymore.
Yeah,
Mix is the only one that really treats writers decently and don't want you to work for free and et cetera, et cetera. And thankfully, um, I've been writing for them for like 35 years.
amazing.
And I love working with them. In fact, I'm writing something right now on Steve Porcaro's new album that's going to be out in October. And I'll do anything to help him. He helps well, I mean, aside from the fact that the album's really great,
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it if the album weren't good.
for sure.
But aside from that, he does a lot of generous work for the nonprofit that I work with. So um, it's my way of giving back to him as well. And um, and I'm happy to do that because I love him and he's my dear friend.
That's amazing.
So, you do for others as they do for you.
Absolutely. I might have told you this story before. The connection of me to you came. I was talking with a good friend of mine named Steve Cody. He's from Halifax, where I live, or well, actually originally Prince Edward Island. We were talking about he works for a record label, and anyway, we were talking. He goes, "You got to get Robyn Flans as a guest. She has written two great books," and I'm like. And he's like, he said the one thing to me that nobody ever should say to me. I bet you can't do it. And I sent you an email, right? And
I
you
wonder
graciously
why
came
he would
on.
say that.
Well, because people just know the buttons to push with me to get stuff done, right? And it's just it's been, I mean, you quickly became one of my favorite people. You're always so super nice and gracious. And I said it to you before too. It's like, I wish I was around in Los Angeles like in the 80s,
Mm.
because I might have had the opportunity to be interviewed by Robyn Flans, and that would have been amazing. So maybe someday we can do that for fun.
Ooh,
I would love that.
that would be fun,
I would
Sean.
love that. I would
I'd
love
like
that.
to know more about you.
Yeah, I would. You know what? If you're game, that would be honest to
The
God. I could walk
shitty
out and
thing
get hit by a
is,
car, and my life would be complete.
the shitty thing is, there's just no place to get it put.
Well, I could put it on my channel, and it would sit there like that, and I would be happy with that. So
Okay.
if you want to do that, that'd be amazing.
I'd be happy to do it.
Okay, well, let's talk about that after. I want to thank you for doing this because I know it's never uh, talking about the man and the legend is a great thing. Talking about his passing is not, but I think this was important because it's coming up, and I just felt that I wanted to do something to properly acknowledge it because I became a Jeff Porcaro fan a little later in my playing life, but man, oh man, once I was hooked, I was hooked, right? So, thank you so much. And push those two books so I can tell my people where to get them.
Well, it's about time. Jeff Porcaro, The Man and His Music, and then there's Moments in Time, Jeff Porcaro's stories. You can get them anywhere. You can get them on Hudson Music, which is my publisher. You can get them at Robyn Flans Drummer Interviews. If you get them there, I personalize them. Um, you can get them on Amazon.
Awesome. Robyn,
Your
I want to
choice.
thank you so much.
Sean, I adore you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You are such a good guy.
Thank you. And we are back after this.